I know it's been a while since I've posted anything. It's snowing out here. It's been snowing. It's been in the single digits for the last couple of days and nights. And today I just thought I'd read a story to you. I like to write, and my daughter's boyfriend was watching our videos a couple of days ago, and he told my daughter, said, "Your dad, he ought to be Mr. Rogers."
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine?
So I started watching some of my videos, and I thought, well, he's right. I pretty low key. But today, over at the camper, you might be able to hear the generator running. It's cold, and I'm not hooked up to shore power. But I wrote a story a couple of months ago and just thought I'd read it to you. I like to travel around out in the boondocks, out in these little country roads. And a buddy of mine and I, Mr. Pete, ran across an old house, and I took pictures of it. Nobody's living there, but anyhow, I'm just going to read this story to you. It's called "The House Cried." He was tired of moving, not tired of living or working, not tired of loving his family. He was just tired of moving. It started when he was little. His grandparents told tales of farming in North Carolina, and his daddy told tales of farming on the Cumberland Plateau. They needn't tell and retell these stories because he knew them before all the embellishments and the exaggerations. He knew all these stories because he was there. Every time his granddaddy or daddy decided the soil was unproductive or the weather wasn't right, the mules were hitched up to the wagon. Everything his grandparents owned and everything that his parents owned had to be loaded. He remembers a few crates containing some porcelain cups and saucers that his granny's father had brought from Ireland. They were wrapped in blankets and straw. These cups had been moved from North Carolina and then to their cabin on the Cumberland Plateau, and on each move, nobody was allowed to pack the cups and saucers except Granny. He remembers her bony, arthritic fingers caressing each cup, and he remembers a faraway look in her eyes as each one was placed deep in the downy comforter lining the crate. When everything was loaded and the time came to climb up on the wagon, he handed the crate to Granny, where she kept it at her feet until they arrived at wherever they were going. Upon arrival, that was the first crate to be taken into the new home. Well, he was 18 years old now, and Grandpa was gone. He died in his sleep a few years back, and his pa wasn't much help on the farm because a few years back, while arguing with a mule on the best way to plow the rocky soil of the Cumberland, well, the mule won with a well-placed kick to Pa's thigh. The pain and the limp never left Paul. Survival was up to him now, just barely a man. It was up to him. No more schooling, no more sharing the hard work of the farm. He knew the rocky soil and steep hills of East Tennessee were beyond even his youthful strength. So, late in the fall, when the crops were in and the smokehouse was full of venison and pork, he took his daddy's only good horse and he rode west. The Cumberland and Caney Fork rivers were his maps. 10 days later, he was in the bustling river town of Nashville. And there he was told about some good farmland just down south. Just follow the Franklin Pike about 20 miles south and you'll find farmland along some spring-fed creeks. Riding south on Franklin Pike and after passing several large estates, one of which he would later learn belonging to the prominent McGavick family, he came to the town of Franklin on the Harpeth River. He followed the Harpeth to Leapers Creek. Seeing the plantations, he could tell that the soil was good for growing things. He followed a little stream from Leapers Creek and found a place suitable for raising a family. He found the land clerk's office at the courthouse in Columbia and was able to secure the land with just a few dollars. In time, he was able to bring his parents and Granny, and they built a house big enough for 3 families. Granny's place was down at the right end of the house where the big fireplace was. His ma and pa took the middle section, and by this time he had a new bride. They took the section on the far left, the one closest to the barn, where all the work had to be done. For pert near 100 years, he and his children, and his children's children called it home. The house protected them from storms. The house gave them a kitchen to prepare hundreds of meals. The house saw babies born into this world and souls transcend from this life to the next. Christmases were celebrated, Easter was observed, games were played, and kisses and hugs were exchanged. One by one, though, the people left the house built for 3 families. Leaving the country life, exchanging farm life and fresh air for the plastic and gas life of factories and facade of a happier life in the city, the people abandoned the house that had been so faithful. Now, left alone on a country road that followed a stream that led to Leapers Creek, that fed into the Harpeth River, that emptied into the Cumberland River, the house cried. And then it died. I'm approaching 69 years old and the cycle of life is more real to me than ever before. It seems like the only thing that is sure is change. And that's what happened to this old house. I wish it could talk and tell the real stories. So I guess that's about it for now. I appreciate y'all sticking around and letting me read this old story to you. Stay warm. Stay in love with your family. I hope you'll hit the like button. You'll share this video. I hope you'll subscribe. Oh, don't forget to tell your mom and them I said hey.